I'm really excited about this one. This is going to be fun. Just walk with me here for a second, okay? The Cowboys didn't just tweak their identity this season. They have more or less rewired their entire approach, okay? If you watched yesterday's episode, then, it was titled, "The Cowboys Are Breaking Old Habits," then you already know kind of what I mean. You feel what I'm saying. You understand that. You resonate well with that, okay? Their standard operating procedure that we've come to expect from the front office, their conservative rhythms, and I guess their slow play approach to the way that they usually conduct business, it's been disrupted. And the evidence is there. Okay, you just gotta follow it, or if you can't, just hopefully then you watch yesterday's episode, you listen to somebody like me, you appreciate that perspective, and you start to think about what's happening a little bit differently. Okay, so with that established, let's talk about what usually gets twisted or misunderstood, or many times framed as like so many people misconstrue the salary cap. They have a fundamental misunderstanding of what it actually does, what it means, how you can manipulate it even. There's a flaw, a fundamental flaw there between reality and what mainstream media or even your favorite team's front office would like for you to believe about that reality. Okay? So now, the first thing that I want to make clear is don't, I'm not selling you anything. Okay, I've already seen a couple people with yesterday's teaser intro that I posted on Twitter. I had people in the comments section saying, "Stop selling me. Next year is our year." First and foremost, I'm not selling you anything. Okay, what we do here at the Lando Show is try to creatively convey the sports below the surface truth for the true fan. That's you, and you're here. So step number one is already done. But I'm not selling you anything. Okay. Or dangling next year like a carrot in front of a rabbit or a horse, right? That's not what this is. Okay, I resonate with the next year is our year fatigue more than you could possibly understand, especially as somebody who studies this stuff full time and began becoming increasingly frustrated with their order of operations, their standard operating procedure. But it's changed. Okay, that's what yesterday's project was about. So if you haven't seen that yet, press pause on this one and go watch that one, because this one isn't going to make nearly as much sense as it otherwise would if you'd seen yesterday's. Okay, 20 plus minutes or so, just not too much. Your next commute to lunch or to work tomorrow morning, check it out, and then follow this one, and this one's going to make a lot more sense. Okay, it's about the reality of what is already occurring now, what has already happened. The things that have been different with this new regime, okay? So that reality, that here and the now that we conveyed yesterday, it's not like they do every single year. It's already different, okay? So let's make sure that we get that as well. The Cowboys, or any team for that matter, can, in any given year, can create maneuverability at the push of a button. Or more accurately, and in this case, 7 buttons. Okay, you'll understand what that means here in just a moment. Flipping the switch on certain salary cap related situations or player salary situations that instantly, at the switch of a button, create money for you to maneuver or operate, right? So, 7 simple switches that can free you up. And now it's also worth mentioning, none of the 7 switches that we're about to discuss here, none of these are guarantees at all. None of them are predictions carved into stone or anything like that. It's not etched in stone at all. It's not a done deal. It's not a guarantee. I can't guarantee you anything. All I can do is simply my due diligence and then creatively convey what I expect to follow based on what has already happened. Following the same due diligence patterns, right? My procedure, my process, the way that I evaluate, perceive, and creatively convey has led me down the line of some rather significant hits as far as predictive team-related decisions. And hopefully you've been following me for this year or long enough to understand what some of those are. Now, I've also been wrong. I was wrong about Micah. And that's not the only example. And it won't be the only one from this point forward. There will be more. But this one I feel strongly about. Okay? So hopefully we're all on the same page about those things. Just logical moves now that the Cowboys can do or that they can make, that every competitive team can also make, if they so choose, when the time is right, to position themselves for more flexibility. Moves that the Cowboys have already structured into their contracts, by the way. That's an important piece here. That will allow them to accommodate themselves to be aggressive. Okay, yesterday's video titled, "The Cowboys are breaking old habits, old Catboy habits, and forecasting an aggressive free agent future." That's the title of the video that if you haven't seen yet, I would strongly encourage you to watch that one before you finish watching this one. So you have a chance right now, go just push pause on this one and go check that one out first, okay? So, 7 switches, simple solutions to create cap maneuverability. The Cowboys, as of today, are currently about, they have $20 million of cap space this year. That can roll over into 2026. But their 2026 projection, based on how their set of expenses relative to their players on massive or expensive contracts, they're about 35 or 40 million in the hole for next year currently. But they have until March, obviously the new league year, to get those things taken care of. So it's not an issue right now. But currently, 2025, 20 million in space. 2026, they're about 35 million, let's call it 40 million in the red area. 40 million above the cap. So they are not technically currently cap compliant for next year. But these 7 switches that we're about to break down here, 7 switches with the help of our friend Mike Fisher, who already laid this out perfectly. There's no need for me to take it any further. And you can add a step or 2, so you can make 8 or 9 or 10 if you want, or you could subtract a step or 2 and make it 5 or 6. But what the ultimate message here that Mike and I want you to know is money can easily be created, and the Cowboys can have whoever they want that's currently on their roster that is due for an extension, or they can have whoever they want, as evidenced by the Eagles that we've talked about on this platform many, many times, that's out there in free agency. They just have to choose that it's their time to go for it. And the things that we discussed yesterday are telling us the Cowboys are forecasting that this is their time. I'm not selling you next year. I'm just telling you, based on what has already happened, deviations from their recent historical norm. Okay? What is likely to come as a result of what has already happened? It's already been different. That's the difference between previously suggesting next year is our year, which is, once again, not what I'm doing. There wasn't this basis, this ground to stand on where we can say, whoa, hold up now. Things are actually different. They're already operating differently. In year 1 of Shoddy, his fingerprints are all over it. There is one caveat in that video that you'll watch that may make you press pause, and it probably should. It made me press pause for a second, like, okay, all this stuff is true, but then there's this one thing, this glaring red flag that we're like, wait, what? What? That doesn't add up. That's not synonymous with everything else that's going on. What the heck is happening here? It's weird. Okay? But assuming they get that right, which is still TBD, this is what we expect to come. Let's dive in. All right, so here's step number 1. Once again, from our buddy Mike Fisher, who did this exercise back on November 14th. titled 7 Simple Steps. If you want to go and find that for yourself, you can do that at Mike Fisher's Substack. It's an encouraging, or it's something that I would encourage you to do, and it's an interesting read and an exercise that we performed last year, that we do every year pretty much, in terms of figuring out, okay, these are the things that probably should happen if they want to go and create space and maneuverability for themselves, right? Okay, so step number 1, restructure Dak Prescott. You may recall they restructured him last year, as predicted on this platform, alongside CeeDee Lamb and others, to have maneuverability, okay? There's 4 void years already on Dak's contract that they have since, as a result of the restructure, deferred money onto. So if they restructure again and basically convert more money to bonuses and then defer more money to create more space on Dak's contract, then they'll just defer a little bit more money into the future than is already currently there. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Doing so, the further you defer money into the future, the more the salary cap is going to grow. That is of ultimate importance. The ultimate importance is the Cowboys actually doing these things and remaining aggressive, as their current set of moves this season that we unpacked are forecasting. Okay, so that's ultimate, but penultimate is us as a collective here understanding 2029 and 2030, when a lot of this money that we're talking about, that's the restructures that have no bearing on the amount of money that the player makes. It's just an organization's decision. They don't have to negotiate this. An extension is different from a restructure, okay? But the penultimate thing to understand here, the league is going to inevitably continue to boost its value. The league is going to renegotiate its TV deals as a result of everything that's happened in their current deal that is set to expire here in just a few more years. Okay, come 2030, there will be a new one. And we're already projecting those numbers to be astronomical because of how successful, how on the upswing the NFL has already been under this current one. The money's about to be insane, y'all. So deferring money well into the future is not as much of a handicap as it may seem right now. That's what I'm trying to get at, okay? When that 30% salary cap increase or something close to it occurs, that's a significant credit card cushion. And just for reference, the salary cap increases year over year on average of about 10%. Could you imagine what a 30% increase would do for your team building maneuverability? All right, that's step number 1. A Dak Prescott restructure would save $24 million in 2026. Okay? Step number 2. Another CeeDee Lamb restructure. Once again, more money into the future. It's already happened last year. They'll do it again if they want to. That would save $18 million in savings on the salary cap books in 2026. Okay, so if we do the math, we got 24 from Dak, 18 from CeeDee. Step number 3, restructure Tyler Smith. Would create $17.6 million in savings on the books next year. That one hasn't happened. They haven't restructured him yet, considering they just signed him back in September. Before his 5th-year option, by the way. So if we're going to hate on the Joneses for waiting too long to get certain deals done, let's also acknowledge the ones that they get done early. All pro caliber players like Tyler Smith, not waiting, kicking the can down the road on those types of things. That was a good decision. They should get credit for that. And they do in this case, okay? So first restructure of Tyler Smith's current extension that he signed this year. In 2026, that saves them $17.6 million. So let's just say 18 for Tyler, 18 for CeeDee, 24 for Dak. Starting to stack up, right? And don't forget about that $20 million carryover that they're going to, in all likelihood, roll over into next year from this year. Okay, step number 4, a Kenny Clark extension. So he's out of guaranteed money. This is a little bit more of a nuanced discussion. And you can find all these cap figures on spotrac.com or overthecap.com, and you can look at these things in a little bit more detail. But Kenny Clark, if the Cowboys elect to keep him, would cost them about $20 million. If they extend him, okay, so different verbiage here, not restructure, extension. 32 years old. Let me make sure that's correct. Oh, excuse me. So he'll be 31 next year. Okay? If they extend him, and he's under contract until, let me make sure I'm right on this. Yeah, in 2024, he signed a 3-year extension. So through 2020, or in 2027, he becomes a free agent, right? So that would be 1 year prior to him becoming a free agent. They would extend him. Okay, so that deal would then convert into a 4-year deal. Okay, if just assuming another 3-year extension happens, because I don't think you're going to extend a player beyond just the age 33 season, which that would be the case here. So just forget about everything I just said the last 20 seconds or so. Extend Kenny Clark. This does require a negotiation. But if you extend him, you give him more guaranteed money beyond just 2026 or really 2025. Okay, because he's out. Like, you could cut him and really have no penalty. There wouldn't be much of a dead cap accrued if you cut him. But to keep him, because he's a good player and you want to keep good players, you extend him. And instead of having to pay him $20 million next year, you defer some of that guaranteed money well into the future, add a void year or two on to the end of his contract, and boom, all of a sudden, instead of having Kenny Clark in 2026 for $20 million, you save 16 per this criteria here, looking at Mike Fisher's data, or his blueprint, right? His set of points. And all of a sudden, Kenny Clark is on the books for only $4 million as opposed to 20. It's a lot more flexibility right there. Okay, so we got 18 from Tyler Smith, 18 from CeeDee Lamb, 24 from Dak Prescott. Those are the restructures. 0 negotiation required. Organization's decision. Boom, done. Money saved right there. Not necessarily saved. They're still going to have to pay the same amount. It's just a conversion. It's salary cap gymnastics. Maneuverability, okay? Convert to signing bonus, and all that money that you're saving, it just gets deferred into the future. But it allows you the flexibility to do more now. You worry about the future in the future whenever the salary cap balloon is giving you more credit card cushion, right? You follow me? Hopefully you are. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you. I'm trying not to do that. But Kenny Clark extension saves $16 million. Boom. Number 5. 3 more here. Walk with me. A Quinnen Williams extension. Same thought process. Quinnen Williams. Make sure we're accurate here. Pull his Spotrac up. Okay, yep, same thing on the books, technically through 2027. Does have more guaranteed money, so it's a little bit different than Kenny. Better player, younger player, still more guaranteed money. So it makes, like, Quinnen's side of things, he's not as desperate to get that extension done, a team friendly type of deal, right? So that one's going to be a little bit more tricky for Quinnen. But assuming he likes it here, which he's indicated to us that he does, you extend Quinnen Williams, add a couple void years to the end of his situation, and all of a sudden, instead of paying him $21 million in 2026, which he's currently due, you extend him, defer some of that money into the future, nothing, all of a sudden you're saving 13. A Quinnen Williams extension offers $13.75 million in savings. Makes a lot of sense to me, right? Step number 6. So we've got 3 restructures so far, 2 extensions, keeping all 3 of those DTs in Dallas, baby. I'm all for it. And we'll talk about that one soon too, why that does make sense. More so than you might think. It all has to do with the evolution. And the league, now the pendulum swinging back in favor of physicality for the offense. Physicality for the offense means you better be able to be physical on defense and stop that run. these types of moves not only give you cap flexibility, but they allow you to be good at what you better be good at moving forward. As more offenses lean into heavy personnel, physical approach, ground and pound, ball control, north and south offenses. It's already happening. The Cowboys are at the forefront of it. Let's let them stay there, right? So we got 3 restructures. No negotiation required. Organization's decision. Boom, done. Okay, 2 extensions. Negotiations required. One of them probably going to be tricky. The other one, no-brainer for organization and player, because player all of a sudden has more guarantees. It makes a lot of sense for Kenny Clark. You like it here, Kenny? Yeah? Okay, cool. Boom. Here's some more guarantees. Not only are you guaranteed more money past this year and next, we are also saving money by keeping you. Instead of choosing to say, yeah, we'll just honor your previous contract that you're currently playing under, where we have the option to cut you for free or to pay $20 million to keep you. We're gonna keep you, but we're just gonna extend you in the process. And now we're saving a lot more money than we otherwise would have. So we're saving $16 million, right? Okay, so 3 restructures, 2 extensions, and as you're getting ready to see here, 2 cuts. You cut Trayvon Diggs, offers you $12 million in savings on the books in 2026. The red flags are everywhere, y'all. I told y'all weeks ago that his days as a player in Dallas are done. I hate to say that, but it's just, listen to what they're saying. Shotty keeps saying, well, we think he's right physically, but mentally he's not. And I pray for for the person, but just being honest about the player for this team can't help me, clearly. So this one seems inevitable. No brainer, unfortunately for Trayvon Diggs. $12 million, okay? And then finally, step number 7. A Terrence Steele cut offers almost $9 million in savings. Already having those conversations about open competition at right tackle. That's a player that works incredibly hard. And as Mike Fisher says, another player who hasn't quite played up to his extension price tag. Steele could very easily end up on another team by the start of next season, especially with how impressive second-year tackle Nate Thomas has played in his time during preseason and beyond so far in Dallas. Like Diggs, these early eligibility signings, before entering the final year of rookie contracts, are now entering escape hatch territory. But unlike Diggs, the departure of Steele would mean the loss of a player who takes his job very seriously with an attitude that exhibits professionalism. Unfortunate for Terrence Steele, but an incredible career so far considering where he started. An undrafted free agent to a coveted and extended right tackle in this league. Pension for the rest of his life because of the work ethic and the professionalism. Maybe things didn't quite work out, but that doesn't mean we have to hate him. But we can still have rational conversations about smart team building decisions that benefit both team and player. Player goes somewhere else where he's less under the microscope, for lack of a better term. Maybe a system better suits him better. Great in the run game still, but in pass pro, as we saw last week, tough at times. Okay? But just like that, those 7 decisions, 3 restructures, 2 extensions, 2 cuts, the Cowboys have just all of a sudden given themselves an extra $100+ million of salary cap maneuverability to do whatever the heck they want to do in 2026 and beyond. Hit that subscribe button for me if you learned anything at all today, if you appreciated the perspective or anything along those lines. I would appreciate your continued support. The growth of this 85,000 and counting platform that I feel very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in, and it's all because of you guys, right? The sports below the surface truth for the true fan. I'm about to pee my pants. That's why I'm talking so funny. I can't wait to get out of here. So with that, I'm going to go use the restroom. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Remember that prayer changes things, and the war is already won.